I get started, I'm going to explain how I got this obviously amazing deal on this PC at the end of this spec sheet area part. So I'm going to, if you just want to hear the story instead of this whole, specs part, if you're not a techie nerdy person, you could just skip that part and just a few minutes ahead and you will get to the whole story, the explanation of how I got this deal. So first of all, this graphics card that I have, I'm going to start the graphics card. So it's a GTX 275 Overclocked edition. It was released in April 2009. Yes, that's like 5 years ago. It's DirectX 10. It has a 28 nanometer processor, 240 stream processors. It has 10 shader clusters. The chip is clocked at 633 megahertz. The shader clocked is 1404 megahertz with a 896 megabytes of GB DDR3 RAM. The RAM is clocked at 999 megahertz. You could really NVIDIA, you couldn't add that 1 megahertz and make it 1,000. Like that's a shame. So the bit memory is 448. I apologize for my phone ringing because I'm that important. Sometimes people call me. So pretty much 448 bit memory interface. Now I'm going to talk about the processor, which is obviously not a Xeon 12 core 12 thread processor here. So it's actually an AMD Phenom II X4 925 quad core clocked at 2.8 gigahertz with a bus speed of 400 megahertz. You can tell that this processor is old if it has a bus speed, because Intel obviously made that bus speed thing obsolete. So the memory, I have 800. Whoa, I wish I had 800 gigs of DDR3 RAM, but I actually have 8 gigs of DDR3 RAM clocked at 1060 megahertz. The motherboard is also old. It's the name is HSR880. It's a UTX motherboard with the chipset is called AMD 785G. It has one PCI Express slot, 16X, which I only need one for the GTX 275. It has 3 PCI, one slot. One of the slot is being used for my wireless Wi-Fi connecting card parts. So, and it has one PCI Express mini card slot, and which is obviously that one is not being used. So that's pretty much the spec of this $150 gaming PC. Now for a lot of tech nerd guys, like, what the hell, you got like old spec, how are you still gaming? Well, I pretty much can play all modern games as of right now at mid to high. I will sometimes sacrifice FPS, but when you're living on a budget, you really don't care. So get ready for the story right about now. So you're over here wondering, how the hell did this guy get a gaming computer for $150 and yet he was able to play Battlefield 3 mid to high, Black Ops 2 maxed out, Modern Warfare 3 maxed out, other games mid to high, Battlefield Bad Company 2 maxed out, somewhat maxed out at 1080p 60 frames per second, because I have a 1080p monitor. So pretty much this whole story started with me wanting a computer just for myself, because I was tired of people nagging me for using their own devices. So I was like, you know what, I think it's time for me to get a computer. That time I was a junior in high school, or sophomore. I was a sophomore going to junior year. So my grandma gave me $100 for clothing, and I was like, I kind of need a computer. I could just use the clothes that I have for last year. I mean, they're all still good. They're in good condition. So pretty much I went to the pawn shop, I looked around, and I saw this nice desktop that actually stood out of all of them, and it was actually the priciest one too. And I noticed that it had a graphics card in the back, and the graphics card had a DVI port and an HDMI port, and on the onboard graphics card it had a VGA port. So I asked the guy, hey, I would like to know, does this work before I give you the $100 as a down payment? He's like, sure, yeah, why not? Okay, I was like, okay, let's do this. So he put it on. He didn't have a DVI cable. So, and he's not really a techie guy, so he doesn't know shit about computers. So pretty much he got his VGA cable, that didn't work, no display. HDMI, no display. So I automatically assumed that the person who had this computer before had the graphics card, you know, output video through the DVI port, and I was just praying that he did not have a DVI port. So I brought my mom was with me because I'm not good at negotiating, but she is. So the guy said, "Oh man, damn, this computer doesn't work." And I was like, "Mom, it works. I know what I'm doing. So, you know, like, try to bargain with this guy." So my mom was like, $50. He was like, "Why do you want to buy a computer for $50 when it doesn't work?" I'm like, "Do you want the money or no?" He's like, "Yes." Okay. So I got the computer. He gave me a monitor because, you know, I don't have a monitor, and he gave me a keyboard, and I snuck in another keyboard, and I also got a mouse. All that for $50. So pretty much I went home. I had a DVI cable, and I pretty much took the DVI cable and plugged it in, yada yada yada, and bam, it worked. So I pretty much got a computer that at the time that was worth $600 to $700, and I got it for a really good price for $50. A monitor to keep, like, damn, that's a very nice saving in my opinion. So I pretty much got lucky, you know. I took advantage. No, I didn't really take advantage of him. It was just me doing me. So pretty much, you know, the graphics card was it was really bad. It was a AMD Radeon something. Pretty much you couldn't play Black Ops at low setting. So if you can't play Black Ops at low setting, you're pretty much useless. So, you know, I was like, I want to walk up to my dad because he had the GTX 275 for his computer. So I was like, "Hey, do you want this Radeon for the GTX graphics card?" I'm like, "You really don't, you know, this one says power, this one plays 1080p videos on YouTube, you know, you can watch 1080p videos, yada yada yada." And then he switched it with me, and then I got my GTX 275 on there, and then so pretty much that was basically it. I had $150 because, you know, the graphics card, you know, if my dad didn't give it to me for free, and actually I was actually going to plan to buy the graphics card online, and some places it was retail for $100. So, you know, I pretty much added that part in because, you know, $150 is a $150 gaming PC. If my dad didn't have the GTX 275, I was gonna buy the GTX 275 at the time. So pretty much that was it. Now, what a steal. I hope you like this story, and please subscribe because I will be releasing more videos on techie stuff because, you know, the gaming, I mean, not gaming, but this channel is called Alpha Gadget. You know, it has gadgets and you want to be the alpha. So, like, yeah, pretty much. So please hit the like button, subscribe, favorite, and subscribe 3 times if you want. I would like you guys to subscribe 4 times. Hit that subscribe button. No, don't, just hit it 1 time. So pretty much, like, love you guys. This is Alpha Gadget, and I will talk to you guys next time. Please stay tuned for my next videos. Peace out.